So, a lot of people have been asking about the build, and in sets we are using 4-piece Witus, increases the target's attack speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Each time you use a skill to grant beneficial effect to yourself or a party member. This is the main reason we use it, and because the 2-piece gives you 30% beneficial effects, that's about 4 seconds. And the other set is of course Gloom Squid, that increases your damage done by 15% every time we use a dash skill, and because we have so many dashes on the kit, this is up almost all the time we are dealing damage. Now the skills on the build are Flying Kick, Shield of Zen, Exploding Palm, Imprisoned Fist. And on the essences, with Palm we are of course using Reaching Rebuke, that makes the palm a dash, and while you are in the air you have iframes, so you can escape easily, dodge kills, or you can engage without getting CC'd as you are in invisibility frames. And because it is so good, we are using Crippling Insight to get 1 extra charge on it. With Shield of Zen we are using Intervening Law, that gives you a dash on Shield of Zen and a really nice cooldown reduction. And Enlightenment Blessing gives Shield of Zen 25% movement speed, and we can move unhindered through enemies. That also means pillars and walls that Necromancer can use. Now with Imprisoned Fist we are using Freedom Scale. Imprisoned Fist now knocks surrounding enemies into the air and stuns them, but no longer immobilizes, and it increases the damage. The stun is 1 second and can be increased by potency or other sources like a Barons. The knock up is not increased with potency, so remember that, but the 1 second stun is, and it can be reduced too. Now we use Isolation's Path with it to get a 2 charges, because this increases it by 1. Now here's one random game on the background while I try to tell you how you play this build. So first off, you usually start with Shield of Zen that will proc the Witus, and your attack speed is increased by 30%, and then Palm is so much faster that it is really easy to jump on the pack and use Imprisoned Fist, and then you can already jump away if it's way too many enemies, or you can jump in and CC the front line and jump to the back line and CC the back lines. Although, because you only have Flying Kicks left, you probably don't kill the back line, but you can disrupt everybody and then you can get away with the Palm. So that's really good defensive and team play. And that's one reason why I like this build more than Shimmerlin, because if you have less resonance than the enemies, you can still do really good. You don't get kills as much, but you can help your teammates to win the game. Now I usually like to engage either with the Palm if there's more enemies, or if I'm targeting one target and there's not a lot of enemies around, I will start with Fist. Then I try to hit the Flying Kick at the same time I land on the enemy, and then I proceed to use Imprisoned Fist. An important part, you need to have movement key and attack move key, so you can move close to the enemy before you start hitting him, because for some reason, even if you have the attack move, you can sometimes just hit him, but you are really not hitting him because you're not close enough. Now if your reposition took too much time, you need to use the another Imprisoned Fist, because otherwise they can leave. If you are lucky enough and you landed really close with your Flying Kick, you can use Imprisoned Fist, and then you can use 2 strings of auto attacks, followed up with the last Imprisoned Fist, and then you can again follow up it with 2 strings of auto attacks, and now your cooldown on Flying Kick has reset on that enemy, and you can use that and try to finish him off with 2 strings of auto attacks. Now if the enemy is really low at this point and gets away, you can choose to try to follow him up with Palm, but you need to land in front of him so you can do 2 strings of the attacks while he tries to run past you. Otherwise you are just flying your fists in the air, and you only need to use one. And the other thing I like to do when we are dancing on enemies, or the enemy is a barbarian, or we don't have any imprisoned fist left, I like to use the Fist of Thunder followed up with flying kick, hit him once or twice, and then get away with the palm. And then I just wait till I can use another Fist of Thunder, because the cooldown is 3 seconds and flying kick knockback cooldown is 3 seconds also. So you can use that same combo again. So you hit him with Fist of Thunder, use flying kick, try to do 2 strings of normal attacks, and again you use palm to get away there. Now if any time you get imprisoned fist off cooldown in the time when you use the flying kick, then you use the imprisoned fist, because that just increases your damage potential. But remember, because you are a CC bot, kind of you have the potential to one-shot people, but your most important part should be CCing a lot of enemies or enemy groups. And of course, try to get on the backline and disrupt all the wizards and demon hunters. If you see a crystal and a wizard beaming the crystal, if your palm reaches to him, just jump on him and use one flying kick if you don't have anything else. You can also try to finish the wizard off, but the main thing here is to interrupt the beam, so it saves your teammates. And if there's a lot of enemies and you know they're gonna focus on you when you jump there, you just use palm, flying kick, and palm again to get away, because the wizard's crystal damage to everybody on your team is really high, and you need to interrupt that. Also, if you have the combo ready, so you have 2 charges of imprisoned fist, just try to use that on demon hunter or wizard, because you do a little more damage to them. Now, from this video, this is all the tips I'm going to say. Now, if you want a follow-up where we have more tips and more thought about tips, say that on the comment section and I can think about making another one of these. And thank you for watching. I hope to catch you on the next one. I will still leave rest of the match here if you want to watch it.
Strength fails.